Welcome to Team Sports Entertainment, your one-stop shop for mature dialogue. We're going to get right to it. Welcome to Team Sports Entertainment, the podcast, your one-stop shop for mature sports dialogue. I am your host, Earl Teem, alongside my co-host, my big unk, Alan Teemer. Before we go any further, we're asking all of you to like the videos, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, hit the notification bell. That way you know Dream Teamers when we upload new content. All right, we're getting right to it. The Phoenix Suns, still rising, sitting nice. Second seed in the Western Conference.
Quietly,
right?
Yeah.
They're balling right now. I don't know, man. I think they're turning some doubters into believers, or at least they should be, right?
I don't think people are still paying attention to them, and it's not a disrespect thing. It's just what I learned with this season, or most seasons, is people already got their top, who they feel going to be there, and that's all they talking about. And like, the Utahs, the Phoenixes, and all them, the Suns, and all that, what they're doing, it's like they're waiting for them to fall. Like things is going to change, but Chris Paul,
culture changer, yeah, man. That's the difference right there.
Yeah,
one of the differences. Well, he is the major difference because they got the talent, but him being there, he just adds a different element, man. He's a head coach and probably the greatest leader basketball player in the game. So,
yeah, I mean, Utah and Phoenix, those top teams like that, they're letting us know that this is a very unpredicted year.
Yeah. Before we go any further, let me. I just said he's a head coach. I'm not taking anything away from Monty Williams because he's doing a great job. But when Chris Paul is on the floor, his IQ and his mind, he brings it all together. That's what I mean.
Well, he's been doing that for his whole career.
Yeah, everywhere he's been, he's turned it around.
Every team he ever been on, always been over 500. That says a lot to me.
Wow.
Every team he ever been on, always been over 500.
Right yeah.
So yeah, and he's been on teams like New Orleans when he first came into the league. That wasn't and that was back when the league was.
He played in the West his whole career.
In the West, yeah.
Yeah, when you think about it, yeah.
He had never been in the East.
No.
Never been. I mean, he's always been. I'm not talking about a game or so over 500. At least about 6 to 7 games over 500 his whole entire career.
So that explains why they are where they are now.
Listen, they put him on OKC last year, right? And myself, and I can almost guarantee that a bunch of the Dream Teamers and all these other fans out there, they never thought that OKC was going to be in the playoffs last year. And it wasn't because of the bubble. People always talk about the bubble like the bubble was some kind of made it easy. No, it was more difficult in the bubble. And
bubble? They're playing in a bubble now.
Basically, same thing. No fans, right?
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. But he wasn't in Phoenix last year. He was in OKC. Phoenix came to the bubble as if they had Chris Paul last year.
Yeah, they was going crazy. Yeah.
Right. And actually they went undefeated.
Yeah,
they won 8 straight games. It just wasn't enough for them to make it in.
Yeah.
Okay. But so you go now, he get traded over to Phoenix Suns. And we even said it in our episode that we didn't have them looking at a second seed though.
Not at all. I was saying in front. No, nah.
And that was trying to be reasonable, not saying that it's shocking or it was impossible, but a Chris Paul led team would have got a Devin Booker on it. Yeah. I mean, come on.
But we did have him at, if I can recall, a definitive playoff spot.
I think it was 5th.
Yeah.
I think it was.
So that just goes to show you how great he is. They went from a possible playing team.
Yeah.
To the 5th seed in our estimations, and now they're the 2nd seed.
Right, but now they have the second half, and the fact that they're at the 2nd seed, they're hunted.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is where the real test is coming.
Yeah, but the next 4 to 5 games is favorable in their defense. They have Indiana, then they have Memphis and Minnesota back to back.
Who would who they have after Minnesota?
Oh, the Lakers.
You didn't want to say that, huh? Because AD ain't gonna be back.
Listen, it's gonna be a good game. I'm never gonna count LA out, but saying about LA is about Phoenix. They just got to win the games they're supposed to win.
Right.
If they do that, they'll stay where they're supposed to be.
Right. Well, the West is so close.
It's tight, right?
Yeah, it's tight because like you got them sitting in second by like 2 games or something like that from the third spot.
Just about, yeah.
About 2 games, and then they're about a game and a half or 2 games from being in first.
Yeah, but if they go on a 3-game or 4-game losing streak,
they can be all the way down to 7th or 8th. Yeah, right. But it's not a fluke
at all.
If you watch how they're playing, and I mean I'm watching, and what I love about it is their games are not blowout games. No. They're playing games where they can learn for experiences that they have in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And when you watch it, and then you have Booker who has to pull it out at the end, and of course Chris Paul is right there leading the way.
Yeah,
and it's not just Chris Paul on his team.
Jay Crowder's on the team as well.
Jay Crowder, yeah,
unsung heroes, yeah. Leadership.
Mikal Bridges.
Bridges on the team.
He's playing great ball. Do you realize that the Phoenix Suns has won 17 games out of their last 20?
Wow. Well, that explains why they are where they are, right?
And see, and these are the things that is not being talked about. People are not really realizing, like they see them as second, but do they understand how and what they've done to get there? Because the West is for real, and Phoenix being in the second seed at the break of the season right before the All-Star game, that was huge. And I mean they did it right before they reached that time at the All-Star break. And then they had 1 game since then, and they pulled that game off.
Portland,
yes, that was a great. They was down in that game,
yeah,
and down the stretch. That's letting you know that this team is getting ready for the playoffs. And when I listen to the interviews from each one of them, from like Mikal Bridges and all them, they're echoing the same thing that we're saying. Chris Paul's leadership, the things that he's telling them, and then like Mikal Bridges is talking about how he's learning and listening to what Chris Paul is saying, but he also had this teaching, the same type teaching when he was in Villanova. So
Jay Wright,
yeah. So I mean,
but you can see the evolution in most of the players. Like even look at Devin Booker. We mentioned this before.
Right.
We always knew he was a scorer, but it's something different about him now.
It's before he was a scorer on a losing team. Now he's bringing that into winning and a winning type of position,
environment.
Yeah, and that's different because he doesn't shoot all game long like he was doing before.
Nah.
But down the stretch, when he needs to turn it up, again,
CP3 gonna put you where you're supposed to be.
Exactly, and I'm quite sure he's in his ear. He's telling them, okay, it's time for you to step up, and it makes the game. And Chris Paul can go out there and score 30 points and all that, but he knows his personnel. He know he has a bona fide scorer over there in Booker. So, I mean, why do I need to do this?
Yeah.
When I got this young bull over here, I'll let him do it. And then if we stay in the concept of what great coach, like Monty Williams is a great coach, man.
If Quinn Snyder and the Utah Jazz aren't tearing the league up, Monty Williams is the coach of the year.
Yeah. Well, right, because right now, if Utah will sustain what they're doing, which one? If either one of them finish first place, that's who. And they're right behind each other.
Yeah.
I mean, Lakers is coming, right? You got even Portland and all these great teams in the West that coming. That's what's so great about this second half, which is going to be so exciting, is they're hunted now.
Yeah.
Can they hold it off?
I think it comes down to whether or not what your expectations are of them. Like even though they're the second seed, I think them getting past just the first round is an accomplishment.
Well,
I'm not saying I love the way they're balling. I'm not one to say, they're the second seed, now they're favorites to win the title or anything like that, right? I'm not going to put those expectations on them. But the fact that CP3 is there and the confidence he's instilling in them, you can tell that had the previous teams that he was on, if the players just bought in, he may have some jewelry.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not even.
When you say previous teams, you're talking about Houston Rockets, right?
Houston and the Clippers.
Yeah.
Blake didn't want to involve his game when they didn't even like him.
They didn't like him. Yeah, that was the problem.
So now that you see a player like Devin Booker, who's going to be a perennial All-Star and possibly a Hall of Famer down the line, he's taking the advice. He's swallowing his pride, putting the ego to the side, and it's benefiting him and the organization, all the players around him, from Ayton, Bridges on down.
Well, being that you mentioned Blake, this is why you'll have a player like Blake who haven't done anything since Chris Paul left, except got a big contract. Then he got traded, and once he got traded, there was a team that just bought this guy out for he still have 2 years left on his contract for over, what was it, 30 million or more? It was over 30
It was
million.
over 30 million.
It was over 30 million.
Yeah.
They just paid him not to come play. So that lets you know, and so it looked like maybe Chris Paul was the type of leader that if you're not a baller, you can't play with Chris Paul. It's just that simple.
You're absolutely right. That's
what
the
it is.
statement right there.
If you're not a baller and you don't come to play, because he's gonna call you out. He don't care. He's gonna call you out, and he knows what it takes to win.
Because he's doing all the things that he's asking you to do.
Exactly.
Even at this age, effort-wise on defense, he's making it happen.
It's still at his age.
Yeah.
And he's playing against elite point guards, and he's still competing defensively. I mean, when he was in Houston, they had Golden State beat until he got hurt.
Yeah.
Chris Paul is.
But even then, when they were playing, his leadership allowed them to get into that position, right? Even when they were playing 4 and 5, when he had the ball in his hands, because it was times that Harden didn't see himself taking the back seat or taking the Devin Booker role and involving himself in the offense when he didn't have the ball. He was staying near the half court line, and now they're playing 4 and 5, and they still got to that point. Now, Devin Booker, the ceiling or the sky is the limit. You got an individual like CP3. You sitting second in the West. I don't care if it's for 2 or 3 days.
Right.
That is an amazing feat to not even be in the playoffs last year. He's never been in the playoffs.
No, the whole team. When you think about it, except for Crowder.
That's valid.
Those are all them young bucks over there.
Unless you talk, or my man from OKC, the lefty, the backup point guard. Why am I missing his name?
Peyton, not Peyton.
What's the man's name?
The backup point guard.
Backup point guard. The lefty. I'll get back to that. I'll mention the name in a moment. I'll look it up. But with the exception of him, and he's never been an all-star or anything like that, but Crowder, CP3, and that individual, no one else has been in the playoffs. And as far as making a long run, and now they're making noise. And I know it feels like a lot of people don't believe, and we said that before. We're not saying that they're going to win the title, but Phoenix and the whole state of Arizona has something to be excited about.
Cameron Payne. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Cameron Payne.
But he's been in the league a long time, and I always liked him.
They wrote him off. He was shipped to Chicago.
Yeah, I always liked him.
Yeah.
I always saw that he had some game, but he has a coach, and then he has a coach on the floor, and in practice. with CP3. He just make the players around him better.
Yeah, man.
I'm telling you. And CP3 don't get the label as top 10 in the league, and that's, to me, is ludicrous.
Yeah, because you really have to watch the games to really, understand what he brings to the game. Because I know the fans of Phoenix, they know what he brings. Mm-hmm. He may not give you the highlights all the time, but as far as like running the offense, like you said, making sure everyone's in the right place, accountability, availability, because if he can play, he's gonna play.
Man,
listen, the record speaks for itself. Phoenix Suns making noise, like you said, they're rising, continuing to rise.
Another thing, quiet as kept, because if six man of the six that we have as our 6 man, hands down, from Utah,
that's already been mailed to his crib already. Jordan Clarkson, yeah.
But it's the second half. He has to hold it up. And that's the thing about that. I want to see what he can do in the playoffs. But before the playoffs, you got the second half, and they're being haunted. Okay? And Phoenix got a dangerous 6 man also, who I would put him in. You just can't put one person there and then there's nobody in
somebody gonna be in contention. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Sarek.
Oh, he's been balling.
He's been balling, and if Clarkson drop a little, he's breathing on his neck for that 6 man of the year.
It's amazing. So, like, even we speak on Coach of the Year or 6 man of the year, Utah is just in their way in both of those categories because of the record, because they was balling in the first half.
Exactly.
But like we said, both teams did well in the first half. This is when things change. Scouting reports change. Teams played. I would say the intensity picks up defensively.
Yeah. Oh, people trying to position themselves.
Yeah.
Because another thing, at one point of the season, it didn't matter where you was gonna be seated because we're in a bubble type atmosphere where there's no fans, and the fans is another type of 6 man. And some going into some of these places it's more like starters at but the way things are going, I'm not gonna say that the arenas will be full, but you're gonna have fans in there. And so now having home court advantage means something.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. So it's something to play for.
Yeah.
But until we get there, man, like you said, it's a long journey. And the Phoenix Suns have set themselves up to be in contention. Yeah. I mean, it's not like they in the back of the race. They got to try to catch up. They're right there. If they keep this pace, it'll all bode well for them.
I believe so.
It's all based on what your expectations are.
Chris Paul is making sure that them young fellas understand the expectations, and he's gonna hold them accountable. And from the organization to the coach, it's already set, and they know. Just follow Chris Paul. Well, starting with Monty Williams first, because it kind of take away from when we say that. But that's what's so great about when you have Chris Paul.
Yeah,
and a good coach. They're all on the same page. It all works.
Yeah, no doubt. Shout out to the Phoenix Suns, man. Yeah. Oh, one last thing.
They're definitely rising.
Shout out to James Jones too, because he's doing a great job in the front office.
And he was considered a joke just a year ago, and the year before, and last 2 years, it's like a joke as a GM. But he took his time.
He cleaned up a lot over there, man.
And because it takes some organizations. It takes time to put things in place.
He tried different things. I even brought in Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, even with that, that was easy. You trade in Oubre to get CP3. You know what I mean? So that
but a lot of people, like, not to cut you off, but a lot of people had CP3 written off too, because age always is a factor with a lot of people, right? But in this league,
well, after last year, watching what he did in OKC. You can't write him off. If you did, you don't watch the game. You're just going by what it appears to be.
And they was basing it on the fact that they weren't in the playoffs and how far could he possibly take them. And that resume is looking real good right now.
Right now. So see, can they hold it off in the second half?
We shall see, man. That's why we love the game, right?
You got to remember, everything was Los Angeles Lakers and the Clippers.
Yeah.
They're above them.
When you think about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, keep sleeping and going by what's expected. They are doing everything that's unexpected.
All right, man. Phoenix Suns keep rising.
Yes, sir.
Keep rising, man. That's all I got to say, man. CP3, shout out to you. James Jones, the whole roster. I don't want to skip no names. Monty Williams doing a hell of a job. Yeah. And Phoenix Suns was once considered a dumpster fire organization. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they were screaming for the owner to sell the team. And now, I'm just sad that the fans can't see it.
Yeah.
As of right now. Because to be able to, you got Charles Barkley and them on the inside the NBA snapping on them, how they don't have certain things at the concession stand, no fans. Now they turned it around, and the fans aren't there to be able to experience this.
But I have 2 sons that live in Arizona. And speaking to one of them, my son Jordan, peace to you out there.
Yes, sir.
And my son Ja'Cory, who's about to go into the NCAA wrestling championships this next weekend. But Jordan was just talking to me this week about how they're allowing fans to come to the game, and he's getting him some tickets to go. So I know I'll be catching me some flights.
No doubt.
To get into Phoenix to go check out CP3 and Booker and all that. So that's gonna be great.
No doubt.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing, ain't it?
Looking forward to it.
No doubt, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Phoenix Suns, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the whole NBA, man. Y'all keep doing your thing out there. CP3, best point guard in the league. Pure point guard in the league, hands down.
Hands down.
Hands down, no argument. And best leader in the league.
I'm gonna give it to him.
He got it.
I'm giving it to him. There is no leader in the league like Chris Paul.
That's a great statement.
There is no leader in the league.
I have nothing else to say after that, man.
That's
it right there.
If you put him on one of these teams with the 3 superstars, it's a wrap. Listen, it's the Stern, David Stern.
Oh man,
David Stern understood
some feelings, man.
David Stern knew this years ago.
Yeah,
and that's why he said, "It's hell no, I'm not putting Kobe Bryant and Chris Paul on the same team." And now you understand why.
Yeah.
He saw that. He was like, it's impossible. Kobe would probably be still playing today.
That's valid.
Yeah,
that's valid.
Exactly.
That's valid.
Kobe would probably have about 8 rings right now playing with Chris Paul.
Wow, that's high praise for that man.
Yeah.
Phoenix Suns, y'all got a great one.
Because they both got that Mamba mentality. I mean, David Stern, he didn't want to mess up his league. Cause people would be tired of watching Kobe and him win. They would be through.
No doubt. Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, Phoenix Suns, we out of here, man. Phoenix Suns keep rising, man. My Uncle Al said it best. He's the best leader in the league, best point guard, culture changer, and the proof is in the pudding. Team Sports Entertainment, man. I know a lot of channels or even networks don't talk about teams like the Phoenix Suns, but we're going to drop that knowledge here at Team Sports Entertainment. Tune in, like the videos, leave a comment, subscribe below, hit the notification bell, but most importantly, don't forget to comment. We need you to engage. Let us know below. Do you believe in the Phoenix Suns? Is Chris Paul the best point guard in the league? And what are your projections for them going forward in this season? Anything else?
Nothing else.
We out of here. Y'all be good.
Peace.